Have you ever been absolutely 100% sure about a memory, only to find out you were completely wrong? We're about to dive into a seriously strange phenomenon that might make you question everything you think you remember. You know this line, right? It's iconic, one of the biggest movie moments of all time, quoted and parodied for decades. You can probably hear that deep, menacing voice in your head right now, saying those exact words.
Well, get ready for this, because the actual line in the movie is just, "No, I am your father." That's it. There's no Luke. So how on earth do millions of us remember a word that was never there? That right there is the mystery we're getting into today. So this weird, shared feeling of misremembering something, it actually has a name, and the story behind it is just as strange as the phenomenon itself. It all started when thousands of people realized they shared the exact same false memory about a world leader. Yup, it's called the Mandela Effect. The name was coined by a paranormal researcher, Fiona Broom, when she realized she had a super clear memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison back in the 1980s. And when she mentioned it online, she found out thousands of other people remembered the exact same thing. And here's where it gets really jarring. People's memories weren't just vague. They remembered specific details, like seeing news clips of his funeral on TV. But the reality? Nelson Mandela was released, became president of South Africa, and lived all the way until 2013. A massive, shared memory that just wasn't true. And it goes way beyond just Nelson Mandela. This thing is everywhere. So let's play a little game. I'm going to run through a few more famous examples and see if your own memory gets tripped up. Okay, first up, get a clear image of the Monopoly man in your head. You know the guy, right? Little fella with a top hat and the tuxedo, but what else is he wearing on his face? If you pictured a monocle, well, you're not alone. Pretty much everyone does. But here's the crazy part. He has never, ever worn one. Not in any version of the game. Our brains collectively just added it in. All right, how about this one? The Fruit of the Loom logo. You've probably seen this on your clothes 1,000 times. Picture it now. You've got the grapes, the apple, but what's all that fruit sitting in? I bet you're thinking of a cornucopia, right? That horn-shaped wicker basket. It seems so right, doesn't it? But if you look up any official logo from any decade, it was never there. It's just the fruit. Okay, one more, especially for anyone who grew up in the 90s. Pikachu. Everybody knows Pikachu, but let's focus specifically on his tail. That classic lightning bolt tail. What does the very tip of it look like? Almost everyone swears there's a black tip on his tail, but nope, it's completely yellow. It's his ears that have the black tips. And this is a character we saw on TV, on cards, in games, constantly, and we still got it wrong. Wild, isn't it? So what is going on here? Are we all just slipping between parallel universes? Or is there a more scientific, down-to-earth explanation happening inside our own heads? Let's get into the psychology of why our brains have these little glitches. And this isn't just some fringe internet thing anymore. Scientists are taking it seriously. In 2022, a study from the University of Chicago decided to really investigate what they called the visual Mandela effect, and they treated it as a real, measurable phenomenon. And what they found is kind of mind-blowing. These false memories are incredibly sticky. Even after researchers showed people the correct image, a whopping 52% of them later confidently pointed to the wrong Mandela Effect version and said, yep, that's the one. So it's not just that we misremember, it's that we are so sure we're right. So why does this happen? Well, one of the biggest explanations is something called schema theory. You can think of it like this. Our brains create mental templates, or schemas, for pretty much everything to make life more efficient. It's a mental shortcut. Let's go back to the Monopoly man. You see him in his top hat and tux, and your brain instantly opens the file for rich, old-timey gentlemen. And what's in that file? Well, monocles are a common accessory for that stereotype. So your brain just, helpfully, fills in the blank. The assumption literally becomes part of the memory. So really, it's often a perfect storm of factors. You have schema theory filling in gaps. You have source confusion, where maybe you saw a parody with a monocle and your brain merged it with the real thing. Then there's just good old-fashioned misinformation and repetition. You hear, Luke, I am your father 1,000 times, and that version just overwrites the original. Oh, and our brains also like to smooth things out, which is why so many people remember the Berenstein Bears, not the actual awkward Berenstain. So, after all this, you might be thinking, great, so my memory is totally broken and unreliable? Well, not exactly.
In a weird way, this tendency to misremember might actually be a feature, not a bug. Here's the key thing to remember. Your memory is not a video camera that perfectly records the past. It's more like a creative storyteller. Every time you recall something, you're actually rebuilding that memory from pieces. This process is built for speed and making sense of the world quickly, not for 100% factual accuracy. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Our brains operate on this basic feeling. If a memory has been with us for a long time, it feels true. And it can be incredibly difficult to challenge something you feel like you've known your entire life, even when the evidence says otherwise. Which kind of leaves us with one last big, provocative question. If so many of us can be so confidently wrong about things as trivial as a board game mascot or a famous movie quote, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other, maybe more important things are we all misremembering together?